All right. Good morning and welcome. We're talking fajitas and blue blood basketball. We are talking blue blood basketball this morning because we have a enemy among us in the Kentucky realm. Mr. Brandon Roberts from Mitchell News Journal is with us this morning.
Happy Brandon.
Thank you. It's great to have you. Brandon was one of the first ones to notice the Q&A morning show, put us in the Mitchell News Journal. So we're very appreciative of that. We kind of explained to Brandon kind of the way we do these, but for those of you who are tuning into this the first time, today we're going to be talking about garden hose repair. It's that time of year.
It is that time.
Most people will be hooking up a garden hose in the next week or two, or this weekend. It's supposed to be sunny.
Possibly disappointed when
and have water spurting everywhere. So we're going to tell you what to do in those situations. But first, I'll tell you why we do these videos. You may wonder why you see our beautiful faces on here every week. But we have a real passion to teach here at Burleson Plumbing. There's a lot of customers that they're not comfortable in their own homes, which is a bad thing. Owning a home is one of the biggest investments you can make. But with that comes a lot of what we call the honey-do list, the things that need to get done that you might not even know how to get done. So we answer those questions in-house a lot, and you're always welcome to come down and come in the counter area, talk to us at the sales counter about a project you have going on. We'll get you the right tools for the job. But these shows are for people who might not be comfortable coming in the door, and they just want to know, okay, I want some knowledge of my home. You buy a phone, you buy a car, comes with a owner's manual, and your home does not. So we're trying to be the owner's manual for you. Okay, so today our pin sponsor is a Pilot G207 and blue. It's blue, very custom job
Kentucky
here.
Blue.
Gosh, Kentucky blue.
throw that pen out.
All right, we're gonna throw this one away. Our pin sponsor for today is Stella's.
Stella's Mexican restaurant.
And
New.
It's
It's
what
new.
I hear, Ryan has a raving review for Stella.
You know, it's delicioso.
And that's Spanish for awesome.
Yes, tasty.
But go check out Stella's. We're excited about any restaurant that comes to Spruce Pine right now. As you know, this week there's a big announcement in the paper
Sad.
that Knife and Fork is closing. Nate has been on our show. We love Nate to death. Nate has been a proud supporter of Burleson Plumbing. We've been a proud supporter of Knife and Fork for many years. Nate and I both moved back to town at the same time. Kind of got involved with Main Street at the same time. Great guy. He's moving to Florida. I believe he's getting a little closer to his son, and he's got a good job lined up down there. So we're happy for you, Nate. But if you are interested in opening a restaurant, open it.
Yes.
The market is wide open.
Because we like food. in
Me and
Springfield.
Ryan honestly want to open a restaurant
Really do.
just because of this, like a burrito bar.
Yeah.
But anything. I'll give you 10 ideas in 10 seconds if you'll just call me.
In fact, Adam probably would invest in your restaurant idea, I would think.
Yes. Anyway, we will miss you, Nate. We are happy for the restaurants that are here. We want to support them. So go to Stella's. I'm actually buying tacos at Claudia's tonight.
No, you're not.
Go buy something local tonight, food-wise, and show them you want them in town.
That's right.
Okay. Now, our disclaimer. Anything we talk about might have some risk involved. So we want to tell you guys, Burleson Plumbing and Heating and its employees are not responsible for any injury, any damages, or anything in your home. Everything we suggest and recommend are simply that. We want everyone to be educated on how things work, but not how to work on technical things. We always recommend hiring a licensed service professional where risk is involved. So, don't get yourself in too much trouble if you get uncomfortable with a situation, especially with electrical. You might kill yourself there.
Yeah.
Don't do it if you're uncomfortable with it. We are talking garden hoses today, Brand. How many garden hoses have you had in your lifetime?
100.
100? Yeah.
Easy.
The big thing with garden hoses is rubber. It's rubberized usually. Some are cheaper than others. Most people like to opt to buy something a little cheaper. So when a garden hose springs a leak, most people end up going and buying a new one. They don't have to.
No, they don't.
No, they do not.
Not with Burleson's around.
Ryan has a few repair parts that you need to know about when having a garden hose. We have a SKU. I brought a couple items. We have a slew of garden hose repair items. First of which is an end. That's one of the most common things that will happen. You'll have an end that will crack, leak, or just come off. Your dog may chew it off so that it can get some water. Had that happen a couple times. How it works is these two screws come out. Super simple. I mean, literally any of you can do it if you have a screwdriver. If you don't have a screwdriver, come buy one from Burleson Plumbing. You unscrew both of these. This little piece in the middle goes up in the hose. These just clamp down. Boom. New end. That easy. It can take anywhere from a minute if you're skilled pros like me and Ryan. If you're somebody like Zach Mason, it may take a couple hours.
Gosh, it could take a lifetime.
Yeah. And good morning, Zach. Thank you for joining the show. Second item Ryan will tell you about.
This handy dandy coupling or repair coupling, I guess. So if you have a hole, pinhole, split, anything like that, you can cut your hose, get it back to where it's solid, and then kind of the same principle. You have just two screws come apart. The internal part slides inside of the hose. This clamps back down on each side. Bada bing, bada boom, you're back in business. Gardening.
I will say on both these items, we have options in metal or plastic. Metal's a little more expensive, but some people just like the reinforced metal. And then we have plastic for the inexpensive fix.
And various sizes too, because there are different diameters.
Yes, so if you don't have your hose with you, which most people don't bring 50 to 100 feet of hose in the door with them, you can just get a measurement with a measuring tape or really anything. Take a picture with like a dollar bill beside it, and we'll figure it out from there. But it does matter what size it is. There's a couple different sizes of fittings. Okay. The other thing that can happen most often, and this is the easiest fix, I promise, you're looking at the end of your wall hydrant, as we call it. Most people call it a wall spigot, or that water that comes out of the wall.
That thing on the side of my house.
That thing on the side of my house with a handle on it. This has to seal with a little rubber washer. All garden hoses come with this little rubber washer that goes right in the end of your garden hose where it screws onto this. If this is not in there, when you go to turn this on, you're going to get sprayed in the face and the crotch. I've looked like I peed my pants doing lawn and gardening stuff many, many times because that was not in there or it was wore down. Yearly, this will wear down, and you just need to come buy a handful of them and replace.
Yes.
I mean, they are super cheap.
They are very cheap.
We're talking about 70 cents?
Yeah, something like
maybe
that.
85. I don't know. Colton man jacked them up down there at the counter. But that is a super cheap, easy fix, and you literally have to just unscrew your hose, take the old one out, put the new one in. Bada bing, bang, boom.
Bada boom. And speaking of neat things.
Ooh, we have a super neat product this morning.
You want to help me lift this?
Yes. 100-foot Super Duty Gilmore hose. This puppy is usually $60.95. You say, Adam, why is that kind of a high price? I'm used to a $10 hose. This is a Gilmore made in the USA. I mean, this thing is 600 PSI bursting rate. This is the hose of all hoses. Reinforced with metal around where you are bending the most at the spigot. Super thick rubber. It's usually $60.95. And guess what?
What?
All from right now through next month, $49.99.
No way.
No joke.
So we're losing money.
Probably. Dad's gonna be pissed. We don't care.
Hey, that's neat, man.
Buy 7 of them.
That is neat.
Give them to your friends.
Yeah.
You could buy a $10 one.
I don't know.
Are we still live?
Are we live?
We're live. I got a phone call on my phone. Thank you, Ryan, for pointing that out.
I was like,
Hey, don't ever let anybody tell you you're not live.
Yeah. We're always live. Okay.
live.
So there is a smaller hose that's also on sale. That's not the double reinforced.
Okay.
I think it's in the $10 to $15 range. So you have options on that too. Right now we've got a lot of lawn and garden stuff on sale. You should be getting one in the paper, with the paper.
Spring sales?
Spring sales should have came out this week. If you didn't get one in the mail, I will be putting them on Facebook periodically.
And we have some at the counter too if you want to check those out.
Yes, we've got sale papers at the counter. So check that out. There's a lot of good deals right now. Ryan, before we close, I want you to tell people kind of what they need to look at with this and why it may be leaking, how it works,
Sure.
how wall hydrant works.
Okay, so these are pretty simple, but they can and will cause problems. A lot of it is dependent on installation, how it was originally installed, whether or not you left your hose connected to it over the winter. In some cases, like my dad called me a couple months ago and said, hey, I think I left my hose on and it's coiled up and now there's water frozen all around my hose. Chances are it's going to be problematic when everything thaws out, which it has, and he goes to turn this back on. Most likely there's going to be an issue. So things to check for and kind of make sure when you initially turn your hose on for the first time in the season. If you have a basement or a crawl space or somewhere like that, if you've left your hose connected during the course of winter, go ahead and disconnect your hose, turn your water spigot on, and make sure that in your basement or in your crawl space, there's no sign of water spewing out from behind the wall or into the basement. Because a lot of times in the wintertime, if they do freeze, they end up cracking inside. So you're talking inside a wall. Typically is where you're going to have that break. So you may turn it on and still have water coming out of here, but it's also spraying, inside the basement or the crawl space or a block wall or something like that. So you want to be very mindful of that. If you've left a hose connected to it, chances are you may have an issue. It's not good to leave hose connected. When it comes to repairing these guys, let's say you're trying to get it to shut off and it won't shut off, it just keeps dribbling. Most likely it's an issue with a washer or something like that in the back end of the spline assembly. The only issue is there are a lot of different manufacturers, and depending on where it was made, this guy is made in the good old USA. Woodford makes really great wall hydrants, and so we carry complete repair kits for these guys. There are other manufacturers out there that you can buy at a number of places. It really just depends on how it was made. Some of them have a ceramic disc assembly. Some of them use just a typical bib washer.
Yeah.
Those are easy to change. The ceramic disc type with a quarter turn, usually you're looking at like a complete replacement, or if you can find parts, replacing that whole shaft assembly.
I would say one of our most common questions is, can I fix a leaking one of these? And that's why you've really got to know the brand to start, because all of them are made different.
That's right.
Everybody in this world thinks they're special, so they make something that's different from
That's
everybody
plumbing.
else.
I don't know what it is about plumbing, but yeah. And so this particular design has a vacuum breaker in the top. That's a protection device to keep, let's say you're filling your pool and you're on city water, and for some reason there's a pressure drop on the city side. It'll actually create a back siphon. So your hose in a pool, if there was a pressure drop on the city side, could actually back siphon that pool water into your potable water system. So they've created and designed these vacuum breakers to deter those kind of situations. So it essentially, if there's a back pull, this thing opens up and allows.
I don't know what you do in a pool, but I definitely don't want to be drinking my pool water.
No.
My pool water has that green tint to it, You know, like when they put a chemical in there in the city pool, so they can tell when kids pee in it.
Yes, that's what's going on in there.
That's probably
that's bad. You don't want that. So the vacuum. That's what this little guy on the top of this is a vacuum breaker. These can go bad, and in Woodford's case, they make a little repair kit, very simple little disc assembly with a washer or a little gasket in there. But like I said, it depends on what manufacturer you have and whether or not you can find repair parts. Some of them, especially like import style, you're going to have a hard time finding parts for them. It's
Yeah.
going to be difficult. A lot of times it's easier just to change the whole thing.
Most customers we have will end up just taking the old one out, putting a new one in, and being done with it.
So that's kind of the basic overview of
Yep.
the wall
If
hydrant.
you do end up replacing one of these ever, if you know anybody that is replacing it, this little puppy is not just made poorly while it tilts. It should be tilted down like this, because when you turn this off, everything from here down will come out so that you've got that much clearance that it won't freeze.
Yeah.
That's kind of to help the freeze proof. If you leave a water hose connected here, which is why we always tell people unhook your water hose in the winter. If a water hose is connected here, it's not allowing that to happen. So that's kind of the how and why those work. What else? What else can we talk about?
Mine is not angled, I know that.
Uh,
Because it comes up through my basement, I can see it. You know, going straight
Yeah.
out through
Yeah.
and it's not angled.
it should be fine as long as you get that water hose disconnected. If it's kind of straight, it'll still kind of drain itself off. If you haven't had it freeze up until now, we do have a cover that you can put on in the winter that'll help with that.
See, I have one that's was existing prior to the one that I actually use.
Yeah.
And it's wrapped in probably 8 inches of something.
Yeah,
So
that's probably why. They had
that's probably why I have the new one now.
Yeah. Well, that is all of our garden hose. If you have any other garden hose questions, anything else that you're wondering about, please comment below. We will be. I'll be putting out some sale items on Facebook today pertaining to gardening. We've got a lot of really good sales going on next month. So if you're stocking up on hoses or anything in that realm, we got gloves for a really good price too. Now is the time to get them before you start everything up in your garden.
And don't forget to throw some more questions. We still have a little tankless water heater that we're going to be giving away to folks who enter questions for our morning show. So
Yeah, burlesonplumbing.com/QA. Enter the question there. We'll draw that name. We're gonna try to give it a little bit more time before we draw that name. But you're giving away a tankless water heater. What else? What else?
I got nothing.
We can't talk basketball because all the good teams are out, and Kentucky.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's go. We're going to root for Michigan because they have a Kentucky transfer.
Go Loyola.
that's awesome.
Go Loyola is my.
So how's your bracket doing? Are you?
I've missed a couple. By a couple, I mean I have nobody left in right now.
Good. So you have no chance of winning.
No chance. I actually am in third place in the work pool, but I cannot get any more points. All my teams are
I'm
gone.
in third place in the work pool. There's only 4 in it.
Good job.
Yeah. Mine says possible points available 0.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
has since the sweep. So since Kentucky lost.
locked in at third. You know.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the
It's better
bronze.
than fourth.
It's the bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still on the podium. Yeah. We thank you guys for joining us this morning. Give us a topic for next week so we can talk about it. If not, we'll make something up. Ryan is really excited to talk about his crochet class he's taking right
Gosh,
now.
that's so awesome.
And I'll do a little origami for beginners. If not, so enter some questions and we will answer them next week. Brandon, thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you this
Love what you guys are doing.
Go buy a paper. Go buy your
Yes.
local paper. All the news that I'm seeing on Facebook is fake news, except this. So, see you guys.
See ya.